Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the Thomas Podcast. Here today, I'm joined by John and Owen,
Hello
and
there.
hello there. And we are here to talk about the Doctor Who story Kinder. But first, so much stuff has not happened in the week. It's been a really slow week. There's no news, nothing to talk about. There's been some really bullshit rumor about all the missing stories being found in the Middle East. It's all fake. Don't believe anything on Facebook. Ah,
The new DWM cover looks nice.
oh yeah, that's all right.
Yeah, it's got Colin on the front. I like to call mine and a Hodiak. I mean, obviously we'll all have our DWMs by the time it's broadcast, but
I don't particularly purchase it myself, but
I'm a subscriber. I get a text-free copy
see, I was going,
on the front.
I was going,
A text-free copy inside would be shit.
yeah, you just get, yeah, there you go. How are you both though? You guys all right? Obviously, the last time you were on the show was technically the new, or John was on the other week, but last time was technically New Year's, but it was like the 21st, so it's been about 2
Yeah,
weeks.
We're doing all right. We've both done that lateral flow tests today because we've both been pinged in the course of the week. So the restrictions being lifted is going really fucking well.
Yeah, I'm also ill, but I've not got
I mean,
COVID. I've done
mine
tests.
came back as void, which means I don't exist. So I'm gonna have to try that again later, or I'll try it again tomorrow.
John,
Mine came back as negative, so
John, you're like Tegan in the story. Only one of you exists and one of you is fake. Except
No, I'm like Nick. I mean, without wanting to get too far into my views, I'm like Nissa in this story. Fucking pointless.
exactly. So yeah, this podcast might be a bit shorter. I don't know because there really isn't anything to talk about. I saw. I don't know if I've seen it, so I'm not going to go into it. But Boba Fett looked really cool today. If
yeah.
those have seen it, I went on Twitter as soon as John said, for those who care, don't look at Twitter because I didn't care. I don't really like the Star Wars shows. I went, let's have a look on Twitter. Let's see who's popped up. And I went, oh,
Yeah, knob.
well, I don't watch them. I like Connor's the same. So I said, oh, have you watched Perfect? He was like, I don't care. I was like, sick.
Missing out. I mean,
I'll have to. Obviously now on the YouTube channel we have a video each week. I have to do a video on Star Wars and why I no longer care about Star Wars. First trilogy is great. Force Awakens was good. Last Jedi had potential, and then it got ruined. At least that's my opinion, anyway. And the Mandalorian was all right. I didn't continue with it. Sorry, everyone. That's just my
in spite of the boss being in it.
whom.
The boss, Sasha Banks.
Oh yeah, her. I forgot that she was in it. She was in the next series.
You didn't think I meant Bruce fucking Springsteen, did you?
I was thinking. I was like, who's the boss? I was like, is there a Star Wars character called? And then Bruce Springsteen was the only person that came to my mind. I was like,
You didn't think I meant
the boss.
Owen's boss at the Owen's boss at the Who shop, or boss out of the Green Death, which you won't understand because you've not watched.
yeah, exactly. But yeah, no, she's in like season 2.
Oh, sorry, spoilers.
That's all right. It's fine. I'll forget it by the time we get around to it on the wheel, probably.
Yeah,
I'll probably.
it comes out your box next.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, I've got a live wheel that I can screen share now for you guys as well, so it looks visually more interesting.
So we actually know that you're not cheating.
Yes,
To be fair, we know that you're not cheating because why the hell would anybody choose Kinder?
So also as well for viewers who have asked, they want me to include New Who and Classic Wheel in the same wheel because they said there's so many, just pop them on the same wheel. So I have done because I used to alternate. I used to do New Who, Classic Who because there was a viewership difference. So I was like, right, but now they're like put them all on one. So I've done it. So now literally any story, even the movie, could come out of the wheel this week.
Movie.
So
I like the movie.
I'm indifferent. I watched it at 3:00 with our friend Callum MacArthur, and at 3:00 in the morning, I might add. First day I met Adam and Moon. That was the day I watched the Doctor Who TV movie at 3 in.
Oh, the TV movie is great. Paul McGann's a triumph.
I think I was just tired. I don't dislike it. He's great.
Well, but anyway. I mean, you didn't have to wait 7 years for it like some of us did.
Yeah, it was already out when I was born.
It was.
But quickly, guys, is there anything else that you guys want to talk about the podcast quickly before we get into Kinder, or should we just get straight into it this week? And
I'm genuinely trying to think what's going on. It's all very quiet in the world of Who at the moment.
It's been a slow one, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean,
It's just
obviously there's a couple of convention announcements. So literally everybody or most people are now looking forward to meeting Jodie at the end of this month, which is very good. Mandep's going to be there as well. They've also announced a screening at the BFI for the week after for Revelation of the Daleks,
Yes.
which looks to be really good.
Tickets for us will be on sale tomorrow, I believe.
Don't tell people.
Well, no, but if they're members, they'll know already. Surely they've paid to.
Don't remind them. You know, if you miss out by like one person, and that one person's one of your listeners, that would be karma biting you on the arse.
It would indeed. Also, actually, before we get into the review, I'm going to give not a round of applause because I'm lying on my hand to sit down, but a massive thank you to Owen Luckhurst again for creating the artwork. However, John did point something out to me that you can tell who fucking made the artwork because you're the biggest circle on the bloody artwork.
only on the YouTube.
No, on the Twitter as well.
Is it? Oh, okay.
You're bigger than me.
Oh.
I mean, I've not got a problem with that, but you're bigger than me.
Hang on, let me have a look.
I mean, VAR.
Literally going to get like a 5p piece now and measure it out with coins, isn't he?
No, he's got a sixpence.
It's an optical illusion, or you are big. It might be because yours is lighter, but you look biggest.
On the Twitter, me, you, Alex, and Beef are all the same size on the Twitter banner.
We're clearly not.
I actually look slightly smaller.
We're clearly not. I mean, it may just be an optical illusion because yours is brighter. But when you look at it, I mean, when you look at it, it does look. Actually, yeah, it's just in that case, it's just the tones and colours. Because you've got a dark background and yours is brighter,
Yeah.
you look bigger.
There we go. We've come to the bottom.
But on actually doing the science, I'm not going to complain too much because it looks like I'm actually bigger than you are. Am I bigger than Alex? Very possibly.
Probably.
So yeah, as you were, no complaints, is as it should be. Your boy here is the biggest circle when he's boss.
There we go. Sorted.
But it's funny how optical illusions work.
It is indeed. That I always find them particular. Some of them are interesting. Some of them just give me a headache.
It's like the old one you get. There's a vase, or is it two faces and stuff like that? It's like, well,
yeah.
Or is this dress white and gold or blue and black? God, that was a fucking headache. Because I mean, the strange thing is with that dress, at first I saw it as blue and black, and then suddenly I started seeing it as white and gold, and I've never seen it any different since then.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's strange what the mind can, play tricks on you. Even though apparently the dress here is blue and black.
It's one of those things, isn't it? It's just one of those things.
It's a very strange little illusion.
There we go. Right, I think we should just jump on because we don't want to bore the listeners and we don't want to waste their time with us chatting about anything that isn't relevant. And unfortunately,
I'm here to listen to us chat shit. They love it.
They love it. Yeah.
I can, run a little poll on your YouTube or whatever. I can guarantee you there will be more people watching this for the bands than there will be watching it for a Kinder review.
What do you mean? People love Kinder. It's great. Oh, God. But yeah. Oh, Jesus wept. Right. We shall. Oh, Jesus wept. Okay.
Before you ask, I ain't doing it.
Oh, God. What? You have to. You can't just pick the one, John. It's people's favourite part of the show. People love your breakdowns.
People love my breakdown. Okay. Well, I'll try, but I will try.
I'm unprepared, so that
I will try while assisted by medium of Wikipedia.
I'm just going to give people the quick information. It was written by Christopher Bailey and directed by Peter Grimwade, obviously produced by John Nathan Turner, and it premiered on the 1st to 9th of February in 1982.
Okay,
Now
pop question for you. Pop question for you before we even start. What is the connection between Peter Grimwade and Robots of Death?
Is he in it or something?
No. Robophobia, the condition in Robots of Death where people are terrified and have a morbid fear of robots, is also called Grimwade's syndrome, which they named after Peter Grimwade because he found the Robots of Death creepy.
There we go. So you learn things on the Thomas podcast, never through me, but always through John.
Yeah, you learn things on this podcast. They're never fucking useful, but you learn them.
You learn them, yeah, exactly. Right, John, take it away.
An Earth colonization survey expedition to the beautiful jungle planet Devaloka is being depleted as members of the survey disappear one by one. 4 have gone, leaving the remainder somewhat apprehensive. Sanders is your boss, and he relies on sort of bombast and generally a lot of sort of pomp and circumstance. Then you've got Hindle, who's his deputy, who's basically a lot nervier, very much on the edge, and he's played by Jack Meadows out the bill. And then you've got the science officer, who's Todd, who's played by the lovely Nerys Hughes, who's a bit more kind of down to earth and level-headed about everything. So she doesn't see the natives, who are called the Kinder, as a threat, whereas the other two do. She's more kind of interested in their culture and wants to learn. The Kinder themselves are a very strange race. Only the women can speak. The men are all mute. And they kind of use telepathy to communicate with each other. So that's your basic setup. So when we join it, the colonists are holding 2 of the Kinder captive inside their base because they want to kind of learn from them, but effectively they've got them as hostages. Todd points out that the Kinder are probably more sophisticated than everybody thinks because the necklaces that they wear around their necks are formed in the shape of a DNA double helix. You know, so which means they're quite scientifically advanced, given that that's something that in this country we only really developed the double helix design in like the 1930s. We only really started to understand DNA in the 1960s. Right, okay, so your TARDIS turns up. Nyssa immediately faints and has literally nothing else to do for the rest of this story because the Doctor puts her to sleep. So Adric and the Doctor go on a little bit of a walkabout, have a little bit of a wander. And they go to they end up finding like a big armored suit that the colonists used to survive in the jungle, and they activate that and it marches them back to the colonists' base, where your main boy Sanders kind of welcomes them. The deputy Hindle is a little bit more sort of wary of them. And so Sanders then decides that he's going to go out into the jungle himself. He leaves Hindle in charge, and at this point, Hindle just completely loses the fucking plot.
Yeah.
Becomes a dictator, uses the 2 Kinder hostages telepathically as like his muscle, and holds everybody hostage inside the base. Tegan, on the other hand, has gone to find a lovely tree with lots of wind chimes under it. She's fallen a kip under the tree, and essentially, I think because she doesn't have a telepathic link, there's nobody to watch over her mind while she's sleeping. The Mara kind of takes over her mind while she's dreaming and uses all kinds of ghosts and spectres in her mind and creepy images to take her over. One of them
played by Anna Wing, who was in EastEnders.
Don't interrupt me, breakdown.
All right, sorry.
This is John's segment.
Sorry,
That's fine. It's added to the mix. The mega mix.
I've tried not to say it. I've been tried not to say it, but I did just say it. I got through a whole episode last week not saying it, but I sorry, I did just say it.
That's fine, mate.
We've had complaints from a cunt, but we've had complaints. So yeah, one of them is played by Lou Beale from EastEnders, who is Anna Wing, who is also the mother of Mark Wing Davey, who played Zaphod Beeblebrook in Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. For anybody that doesn't know that, and she's basically sort of terrorized and provoked into just allowing the Mara into her mind. The Mara takes over. She then meets one of the male Kinder, a man called Aris. All Cockneys will now start giggling. It means you bottom to us Cockneys.
Or you move your Aris.
You Aris, get out of town. Bit of a Mike Reedism. And so he gets taken over by Aris gets taken over by the Kinder as well. He gets like a snake tattoo moved onto his arm, and he develops a power of speech. So that's how we know that he's actually different. Back at the base, Hindle is now completely doolally, brilliantly portrayed, but completely doolally. And he's concocted a plan to blow up the entire dome and the jungle all around it because he sees that as the only way to survive. But he's also kind of like become quite childlike. So he's doing things like hiding inside a big cardboard box and jumping out to scare people and stuff like that. Sanders has come back, but he's very much kind of humoring Hindle and just like watching what's going on and just like, right, I'm not going to provoke him too much. He even stops Adric from escaping at one point. And it's just it just becomes a bit, it's all very tense. Very good, but very tense. So he's then presented with like a wooden box, which clears his mind when he opens it for some reason. I don't understand exactly why, but then I don't understand very much about this. And it kind of lets him settle down a little bit once they open the box in front of him, because the box has previously been used on Sanders. So yeah, the doctor and the scientists, Todd, go to see like the blind soothsayer woman, Panna, and she gives them a vision of the Mara coming and like the last hours, and you get the cliffhanger of episode 3 where like all of the time is running and flowing and everything goes a bit weird visually, and that's quite a decent little concept. But then she immediately browns it after having the vision. For those that aren't from the East End, that means she dies. And there's a group of Kinder that are now following Aris and just using him as a leader because he's got a voice. There's like some prophecy that's prophesized a male Kinder that can speak, and they don't realize it's not his voice, it's the voice of the Mara, so they just follow him. So the Kinder with Aris all go off to attack the base. The Doctor and Todd kind of rush back, now accompanied by Tegan, to try and stop the whole situation. And essentially, this is where they got a little bit mixed up there. This is where they use the box to bring kind of Hindle back to reality, if you like, back to life, back to reality, back to the here and now and there. And then the Doctor realizes that because the telepathic link to the Kinder has been broken through a mirror, the Doctor realizes that they can use mirrors to destroy the Mara by making it face the evil within. No, me neither. And so Adric says, well, we've got some nice big solar panels, so we'll go and gather them all around, and we'll taunt Aris into the middle of this circle of solar panel mirrors, and then we'll make him face himself. We'll make the Mara face itself. So they make Aris face himself, surrounded by giant mirrors. He collapses onto the floor. The Mara comes out, and so it's now just a massive fuck off rubbery snake. He gets dragged out of the mirrors, and they just surround the Mara now with mirrors, and eventually the Mara just like can't face it anymore. And after about 2 minutes of a giant fucking snake going around in a circle of mirrors, just collapses on the floor. And it can't face itself anymore. And that's that really. Nissa wakes up after sleeping for 140 minutes, which is pretty much what I wanted to do whilst watching this.
Yeah.
Everybody goes home. Todd decides that she doesn't want to stay on Kinder because it's all a bit too nice and too green and too plush for her. And yeah, reality is restored, although we're left with a little bit of a hint that the Mara might still be out there, because, you know, there's a couple of little hints of Tegan kind of saying, "Doctor, have we really got rid of the Mara?" And her sort of peeking through the mirrors when they've got the snakes surrounded by the mirrors. So it may well not be the end. Well, I mean, it may well not be the end of the Mara, shall we say?
There we go. Thank you very much, John.
Don't ever make me do that again.
I will never do that again. Right, I've got notes on every episode if you'd like to review it that way. Just because, you know, I think it's I think I've done a good job at getting every point across very well. So I've got it part by part. If you guys are comfortable with that, or if you guys want to go a different route,
I'm happy for you to do. I mean, I've just got a general view on it, but I'm happy for you to go through point by point, and then I'll give you my view. I'll give you my view afterwards.
Right, well, I put at the start, this is my first thing. My notes are very brief, they're not detailed. I put Nissa is everyone in the story, like you said. Just wants to go to bed.
I mean, it's worth mentioning that this was written before they knew they were going to have 3 companions. So for a bit of background for those that don't know, Nissa was never meant to be a permanent companion. At the end of season 18, it was meant to be the Doctor, Adric and Tegan. But John Nathan Turner was very attached to the character of Nissa and keep her a Traken, so he decided to bring her back for Logopolis and keep her on as a full-time companion. So I think this is one that was written when they thought it was going to be 2 companions, and obviously this was a really easy and obvious way to make it 2 companions rather than 3.
Yeah, I don't have an issue with it. You know, it's just funny that this is actually lucky that she gets to avoid. Actually, we can talk about general opinions now. This absolute shithole. This is the balance. I think this is a great episode of Doctor Who for entertainment value. It's hilarious, and I will go into the details in which I find it hilarious, but it is tripe. I had watched, this is the second time I've seen this one. I watched it when I was about 15, so 5 years ago, when I first got into like classic Who. It was one of the first ones I got. I got this in a box. It was in a box set with something, I think. Maybe it was like a snake double header. You know, I haven't seen Snake Dance.
It came in a box. It came in a box set with Snake Dance. It was called Mara Tales.
That's the one I got. I never ended up watching Snake Dance after I watched this one.
It was a red box.
Yeah, that's the one. That's the one I had it in.
No, that was the Tegan Tales box set. It was never called Tegan Tales.
No, Mara Tales.
Sure. Because the red box was Arc of Infinity and Time Flight. So the Mara Tales was in a just sort of like a dark purple box set.
Okay, fair enough.
But yeah, I put Nissa lol. I thought it was really funny. She's playing drafts with Adric, and she decides to want to leave the game. She goes, "Oh no, my head! Oh no, my head! Oh no, I don't want to play with you anymore, Adric. Oh, go away! Oh." I will give this episode props though for not using the sonic screwdriver and getting rid of it in the first part. Hey,
I mean, I get rid of it permanently in the next story.
Yes, again, this is a weird one because we've reviewed the Visitation on episode 8 of the podcast. This is the 2 back-to-back where we've had stories that kind of link with each other, sort of, not as much as.
Why they didn't just blow it up in this story, I don't know. They were going to blow it up literally in the next one.
Yeah, I put Peter Davison's really good in this from part 1, and I'll say that's consistent throughout. I think he's quite good. I think he's got some funny moments. I think he's quite strong.
He's consistently good throughout his first season. I've got to say, he's really good throughout his first season. I mean, you get into some slightly sort of ropier bits as you get into season 20 and 21, but 19, he cannot be forward.
Yeah, absolutely agree. There's really good moments later on. I also put interesting concept of the Kinder. I like the idea of this race, which they may seem, easy and simple on the outset, but they've actually got this hidden hive mind way of the telepathy and all that sort of stuff. I thought that was an interesting concept, and it allows us some good character moments with the characters we meet along the way. I thought overall that first part, actually, we didn't get to anything too bad yet. And I thought the concept of the Kinder as a race actually was pretty interesting, at least at the start.
Yeah, I agree with you. I mean, there isn't a time that we record this podcast when I don't see the appeal of a race where men can't speak.
Anything from you, Owen, or are you just gonna sit there and look pretty?
You look pretty.
It has been 3 years. It has been 3 years since he watched it.
Yeah. Was that how long ago it was?
Yeah, it was released like December 18. Because it was the second box set to be released, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Owen, word of advice for the next podcast. I know this next one's probably not going to be as bad as Kinder, we hope. Watch the episode.
Be prepared.
To be fair to him, he's had quite a lot on.
He has, poor boy.
So I'm literally just sort of like, I'm just going by muscle memory.
Yeah. To be fair to him, he has,
he's been a busy chap.
But if I've had the week that he'd had, and somebody said, "Go and find yourself 1 hour 40 to watch Kinder," I'd tell him to bugger off.
Yeah, go fuck yourself.
Fair play. I put there was also one really good performance in the first episode. I think we can talk about this as an entire concept. The the Tegan into mind dream thing with the Kinder in the first part is really creepy and actually decently executed. This is where I was watching this. I was going, have I harshly judged the story? I was watching this. I was like, this is actually all right, When you meet that one character, you have that couple who are a bit weird and not really acting properly, and they're they're just strange. But there is that one guy who I don't know what his name is, but he was really creepy and really good with Tegan. Good back and forth with Janet there as well. And I thought the space they used, and the visuals, the makeup, I thought it looked great. I thought that entire sequence in part one where, Tegan's in her own mind, it seems, or I don't know, like John said it, this story makes no sense. She's somewhere and she's questioning whether she exists or whether she doesn't exist or whether they exist. And it's all a bit creepy.
The guy looks like someone from an 80s pop band. I don't know if that's just me.
No, not. I'm not saying you're wrong there. I think you're.
I don't think it was. I mean, there have been a few people from 80s pop bands turned up in Doctor Who, but I don't think it was one of them.
Yeah, I mean, Lee John was one person who turned up in Enlightenment.
Yeah. Brian Hibbert turns up in Delta and the Bannermen.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean,
and what's his name in Revelation? Was the DJ
Alexei Sale?
That's the one. Yes, yeah.
What did you guys make of this sequence? I do want to give this episode some props. Although I'm perceived as quite a good person, I don't just want to be sat.
It was really good. It was really good. It was really stylish. It worked really well. But I think, to be fair, I think this whole story is actually very well directed.
Yeah, I think
the whole story is actually, it looks great. There's some great concept stuff in there. It's very well. So yeah, it's a very good sequence. It looks really good.
Yeah, Peter Grimwade obviously has done a few stories as well. So I don't think this was his first. So clearly he had some form of relationship with the cast. I thought it was really good. The last thing from part one, I thought the cliffhanger was really funny. It wasn't meant to be, but it was. I thought it was hilarious. Poor old what's his face? I got his name here. Where is it? Hindle. He's recently been told he's the boss of the base, but like John was saying in his breakdown, he's slowly losing his mind and slowly getting a bit mental. And then suddenly, leader boy, I forget his name as well. Hang on, my names are terrible here. It's Sanders. He goes off. He's like, I'm going to go to the trees. You're in charge now, Hindle. And the door closes and he goes, I'm in charge now. He has a gun and he goes, I have the power over life and death. I'm sat there going, what? I was like, what's happening? Why?
I feel that way every time I'm hosting a Zoom.
what? It's just like, it was really funny.
Now I know you're mad. I just wanted to make sure.
I don't know why it was so funny to me, but it was just really funny. It's the way he's got the gun. It's just like, it's just like that. This the way. I think it's the actor's delivery. The actor's not doing a bad job in this. Don't get me wrong.
Alex Kingdom finds mental breakdowns and people being held hostage funny.
Oh, come on! Don't put me in this corner. Yeah, I thought it was funny. Just the way he had the gun, and then he was like, oh, "I'm in control now. I have the power over life and death." I think it was just that line that made me piss myself. And then that's it for part one. And I watched it, and I went, you know what? That wasn't half bad. You know, a bit weird, but nothing's gone too bad yet. Just you wait. Part two, I put the there was a CCTV image, and it was just a picture, and it made me laugh because it was meant to be a video format of Hindle, but clearly at that time even the actor wasn't there. It was just a picture that they kind of stay on for 30 seconds. It doesn't move once, doesn't even blink. Just a little thing that made me laugh. And I put nothing is happening. And I put nothing is happening again. I put chairs lol because they had chairs with the names on it, and it made me laugh because it was like they were on actual like film set in real life where you'd have the name on the back of the chair. Just little bits. I put crap diet.
Is that what you've got quickie written on the back of your chair?
Exactly. I put crap dialogue. There's a bit where Adric says to Hindle, at this point, Adric is seen to have betrayed the Doctor as such, and he's working for Hindle. And the Doctor, you know, Adric goes, "There's something there," and then Hindle goes, "Where?" And Adric goes, "There." Whilst we're looking at a blank screen.
Where on the stair? There on the stair.
And I'm sorry, but like, it's not pointing at anything. It's really bizarre. It's terrible dialogue. I was just sat there going, Jesus Christ. I did, however, again, ambitious effects in this. I didn't watch it, the updated effects, but the effects are ambitious. There are some decent moments. I guess if you're going to give it any credit, the effects, I suppose, for the time aren't horrendous. Is that fair? You know,
I mean, at points they're really good.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, at the very end.
Yeah. No. Yeah. I put moving snake on the arm is really funny because it just kind of like every time the tattoo kind of transitions onto a new person, it looks dreadful.
I think that's a good, but it's also a good way to symbolize what's going on.
I think it's
a good way to keep a track of who's being possessed.
Yeah, exactly. When Hindle is beginning to slowly lose his mind, he just shouts, "Mummy!" It's really funny. It's just kind of hilarious to me, especially because you can tell the actor's having a good time with it. He knows the dialogue's a bit crap, so he's just going full blast, kind of just enjoying himself. Which, to be fair, Hindle's one of the better parts of the story. I put evil.
If somebody's in the middle of a nervous breakdown, they're unlikely to be that bothered about fully constructed sentences.
No. I'm saying the performance of it.
Yeah, the performance. Yeah, but this is what I'm saying. You know, in terms of the dialogue, Hindle's dialogue for me is pretty spot on because it is that little bit off.
Yeah, no, I did. Yeah, I think the performance and even some of the dialogue's fine. I just found it funny that he randomly just shouts "Mummy" randomly because it seems, for me in the writing, Hindle's kind of downfall starts all right, and then it goes from like 5 to 10 in like a part because they had to get rid of Sanders. Well, they didn't get rid of him, but he disappears for the whole of episode 2, kind of. I just found it a bit odd. It gets better in the second half of the story for me, but it just seems to. It's a weird one. It's a weird character trait. I put evil Janet is hilarious because she's trying her best, bless her, but it's just a bit weird. She's not only she put a stern voice on and they've made her eyeshadow a bit dark.
Damn it, Janet.
Jesus. And that was at the end of part 2. And at this point, I was like, still not as bad as I thought we were. But wait, there's more. I put part 3. My first note was, at least we're halfway through. I put the music is good. It is pretty good.
Yeah.
I think the music in this is quite atmospheric, works well.
I think the music in the whole series 19 was pretty cool, actually.
Yeah, it's
Queensland.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, because it was after they'd sacked Dudley. So yeah, I think it is.
Yeah, I think you're right there. Next bit I put was visions. I always find it funny in these shows when like characters have visions of people who want them to find you, but they never tell you where to go. It's just like, come to me. It's really funny. I don't know why that makes me laugh. But when they're just like, come this way. It's like, but where are you? How do I get there? It's a nitpick of all nitpicks, but I just find it really funny. I also like how the vision chop and changes between different characters. It's really funny. Also, that does take Sanders out of effect once again for a little bit. He's overtaken by the power of the vision, but the Doctor and Todd, they're still good. I also want to say the character of Todd, really like Todd, great character, nice. I think her back and forth with the Doctor is strong throughout this. Don't mind her. I think she's all right. I like the bit with the hand game because in part 2, when the Doctor, Adric, and Todd are in prison, the Doctor and Adric play a little hand game. It's a bit magic and it's all about probability and where the coin could be and what hand. I like the fact it comes back later on when sort of a member of the Kinder, I don't know whether they say sort of like a jester, he comes through and he says it's the Doctor's time, just do a trick, appease the crowd. And
played by Reg Hollis from The Bill.
So you get this great moment where the Doctor then does that hand trick. I thought that was just a nice bit of writing. One of the few small bits of good writing, but I thought, you know what? They established that in part 2. They bring it back in part 3 quite well in a nice little moment. I thought it works. I put keep silent, idiot. It was a legitimately funny line. The fact they kept calling the Doctor an idiot and he wouldn't shut up. I thought that was like legit, but I was like, fair play. You made me laugh on purpose for the first time. Well done. And then I just put, can I sleep now? You can see the and then I put my eyes hurt CGI. This is where I was talking about the ambitious CGI earlier on. At the end of part 3, they sort of just go mental with it and they throw it at the wall. And it's sort of just like, I see what they're trying to do. I respect the ambition. Some of it looks good, some of it doesn't. It's just really bright and really irritating to the eyes. I don't know whether this is something they updated in the updated effects. I don't know. But I found it quite horrible to watch the last minute and a half or so of the last part 3.
It's nightmarish, which is it's what they're going for.
Yeah, I think it's effective in a sense, but it just hurt to watch. Like legit, like it was like, maybe it's my eyes are quite weak anyway, but I don't know whether it's just my eyes, but it hurt to watch it. But I think it's because it's so consistent and it's lights changing color and they're quite harsh lighting as well, again to reflect the fact it's nightmarish. But it just.
I remember somewhere in the story where the Doctor turns around because I think he's got an apple and he goes, "Oh, an apple the day keeps the Doctor." Oh, never mind.
Yeah, that's part 1. That's part 1.
Yeah, I thought it was. I can't remember where it was. As I say, it's been 3 years since I watched it.
Yes. And then obviously,
Johnny, you look like you're falling asleep. Is he boring?
Oh, no, I'm just resting my eyes.
It's because it's
a bright light.
It's because it's Kinder. Part 4, we get, unfortunately, Panna couldn't handle the vision or of the end, so she unfortunately does die, like John mentioned. And then we get a mind change into the younger person. I just thought it was really funny because they sort of do it for one scene where they sort of write it as if Panna has now become this younger person, but it doesn't stick, which is a bit interesting to me. I thought, obviously we go back to the base or the dome every now and then. We check in on good old Hindle, and he's talking to a paper man.
Mm.
It's it's really, really bizarre. And I also find that Sanders is sort of playing up to it. I don't really understand why that is in the story. I don't think they had written that bit very well.
He's humouring him. He's trying to keep himself safe by humouring him.
Okay, because I didn't pick up on that. I picked up on the fact that like Sanders was just getting in line. I was like,
no, he's humouring him.
Okay.
He realizes how dangerous he is.
I put man versus robot fight is stupid. It looks bad. It is bad. It's not. It's really funny. Adric's in this robot thing, and it's powered by his memory or something. And then the gesture, I think it's the gesture. It might not be that same character. Is fighting the robot by doing flips and stuff, and it's really hilarious. It's so bad. It's just and the doctor comes out and turns out Adric stops, which is weird because the doctor kind of goes, "It's powered by your mind, and you're afraid," and that sort of stuff. So, okay, I guess, sure, but then, right, it's like, okay. There's a random point when Hindle is talking to Todd about the box, and I think Hindle's just been given the box. It's not even him, I don't think. It's a random person in the background. You can just hear going, I don't get what's going on. It just made me laugh. I don't know why. Maybe I misheard that. I put Adric is shit because he is. There's also a bit as well where he goes, "Oh, I had under control to the doctor." Like, is Adric? Because people always question whether Adric was actually written to be unlikable, but like, no, you didn't, Sunshine. The doctor had to come in and save your bacon. You know, just awful. I put Mara, just Mara. It's shit. Like John described with the mirrors and all that, so it's shit.
It's the puppet.
Yeah, and then I put the words "thank fuck" at the end because it finished, and that is my step-by-step viewing process of
the first time we've ever done anything step by step.
Indeed, but yeah, just to go into general thoughts now, like you said, John. I think we disagree slightly on the Hindle stuff. I think the writing could have been effective, but I don't know whether the performance works. I think it's too comedic.
Simon Rouse is fantastic. I'm sorry, but for me, Simon Rouse is fantastic as a man on the edge who gets tipped over, and he's basically like a dictator, but he's a dictator in charge of 4 people.
Yeah.
You know, the comedy isn't in his performance. The comedy is in the situation.
Yeah.
It didn't work for me, to be honest.
I will defend that performance until my dying day. I think he's fantastic, and he's one of the best things about this story.
It just didn't work for me.
You can't mend people, can you?
Yeah,
exactly.
Which I think is a great line, actually.
It really is.
Factually correct. But like I said, Neris Hughes, I thought Todd was really good in the story. I think she is a really good character. I think overall, the fact as well that she's sort of on a similar intellectual level to the Doctor as well. It's not just like the Doctor showing this new character and they're going on for the ride. She is actually really good in it and sort of keeps the Doctor on his toes throughout the story. And I like the back and forth they have. I like the fact that when they go and they meet Karuna, not Karuna, what's her name? Karuna's the younger Panna. Thank you. That she kind of gets a little bit of a kick for the Doctor being called an idiot and all that sort of stuff. Their relationship is very good. The bit with the heads and tails and the Doctor, I think gets, I think it's revealed to be heads and then she just does tails anyway. And he goes, all right, that sort of stuff. They have a really good back and forth. They're fun to watch. So whenever the story cuts to those two, there's something to enjoy to watch there. I think, for me anyway.
Yeah, there's good chemistry there between them.
But then Sanders is an interesting character to me because in part 1 he's really good, and then proceeds to just be like a punching bag for the next 3 parts. I don't just mean having to, like, as you said, John, pretend. That's also, I mean, like, he gets taken in the robot. Then he comes back and
No, but he does also get fundamentally changed by looking in the box.
yeah, he does. But then is immediately, I don't know. It's just the fact that so he gets the dumber shock. So then he's in the cell. So then when he comes back, he serves no purpose really until the doctor can get back to him. I don't know. I really like the writing for him in part 1, but I think that the story, his impact sort of lessens. But suppose it's okay. It doesn't really do much wrong. It's just a bit whatever. Like we said, Hindle, it's great. Like I said, I think I agree with you. The performance, all right. It's either I just don't know if the dialogue's brilliant for me anyway. But like you said, John, it's by the by. I just found myself laughing too much, and if it's meant to be like a serious mental breakdown thing, I'm sat there going, I didn't really get the man on edge part towards the end of the story. I more got he's completely lost it. So why doesn't someone just punch him in the face now and nothing would go wrong? If you knock him out, he's not going to have the mental telepathic link over the Kinder anymore. So you could just do that.
Yeah, but in the moment you're trying to knock him out, you could tell him to blow out the base.
I don't know. It's just whacking. Maybe a steel chair like WWE, just whacking in the back of the head with a steel chair.
No, there weren't any steel chairs in the base.
I know, but I'm just saying. I don't know. I didn't like it. I think it just didn't work for me. I didn't find him. What's the word? I didn't find him menacing. I didn't find him. There was no threat level for me from the character towards the end. First couple parts, maybe. But then as soon as he went ridiculously mental and started jumping out of cardboard boxes, I was like, okay. But sure, I don't know. Maybe I missed something. Maybe I was just gone by the episode. But yeah, it just didn't work for me as an overall threat, shall we say. I think the only thing to talk about now is the actual Mara itself and how crap it is.
Yeah, I mean, the puppet itself's not brilliant, which the CGI definitely sort of makes up for it, I think.
Yeah, I'll agree with. I haven't seen CGI, but I'll agree with the puppet looks crap. But also the execution looks crap. Like John was saying, the way they defeat it makes no sense. If it looks at itself, it will die. Right? Okay. Sure. Why? And then Andrew goes, "Oh, we've got this over here." It's like, oh, that's fucking convenient.
I mean, to be fair, you'd expect a colony base on a random planet to have solar panels.
I know. It's just sort of. It feels like a cheap ending. It feels cheap to me anyway. It's just like, oh, let's surround him by mirrors. Right, sure. Okay, we've been building this up for ages, and that's how we get rid of the big snake. Mirrors. Right, okay, fine, I guess. It's over at least. It's really funny, and it shouldn't be funny, but it's funny. And that's the problem with most of the story, is that it's going for some serious impact with certain bits and just flops because of how bad it is. And that's the problem. Is that if I was watching this episode drunk, I've put 2 ratings down here, my actual overall rating of the episode and a different rating. But yeah, I think that's my biggest pitfall with Kinder, is that a lot of it fails because it either makes no sense or it's shit or it's just hilarious. And most of the time, it's not trying to be funny, it just is. But I don't know if that's just me. What about you two?
I wouldn't say I found it funny at any points. I think there's some really good stuff in here. The direction's great. Some of the experimentation with the CGI is great. The dream sequences, as we were talking about earlier, is great. The individual performances from the guest cast are really, really good. There is some attempts at some very high concept stuff in here with, you know, the stuff about telepathy and the Mara being a telepathic monster and stuff like that. Unfortunately, it doesn't all tie together. And what we've basically got here is a Doctor Who story that is very much up its own arse.
Yeah.
You know, it thinks it's a lot better than it is. You know, would I rather watch this or watch The Visitation, which is the next story in line? I'd rather watch The Visitation any day, because it's a proper Doctor Who story with monsters and a bit of running around and some proper threat and a great big android and you know, and some lizards and yeah, it's great. Whereas this is like, it's like kind of, oh yes, the beast sees itself in a mirror, and it's like, oh, fuck off.
Yeah. Yep.
No,
I can't disagree with it.
so yeah, it's got, I think it's got ideas above its station. I think if this was a new Who story, it would be significantly better delivered, and they'd actually probably pull it off. But I think as a classic Who story, it just doesn't work in that 4x25-minute format.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. Yeah,
and you know, like some of the themes in there, like some of the religious imagery around Buddhism and Christianity and stuff like that, very, very interesting, very, very good, but not really expanded on.
Yep.
I'd rather watch this story than Time Lash, obviously. But yeah, apart from that, I completely agree with everything that John says there. I think John's basically said it all for me.
Okay, that's all right. Well, it's time for scores on the doors. I'll go to John first, just to see.
I mean, it's not terrible. I think, were it not for some of the performances and some of the effects and the general direction of it, I think it would score a lot worse. I give it a 6.
Owen, from your memory vault.
7.
Okay, I'm going to get in some trouble. I'll go with a 3. But the entertainment value of a 9. If you want to get drunk, watch some Doctor Who. This one's a great one to watch because it's funny, at least to me anyway. There were so many parts where I was just laughing at what I was looking at, and I shouldn't have been. Like I said, I think that, like John said, I think there are so many good things here in concept, but the execution of them, for me, for the most part, isn't great. And concept's only going to get you so far. You could have one of the greatest stories in Doctor history in concept, but then you execute it poorly, and it doesn't work for me anyway. This one, the threat wasn't there. I didn't understand what was happening most of the time. Characters just disappear for points and then come back for no reason. The only thing that's consistent about it is the Doctor and Todd. They're the only characters that make sense and the decisions make sense. Adric makes no sense because you never know whether he's actually doing good or doing bad. And even at the end, he's still a bit of a prick. The only thing I really liked about it was the dream sequences, and they end up part 1. So yeah, for me, it's a 3, unfortunately. Let's hope next week's is better. Speaking of which,
get your wheel out.
I've got the wheel already up.
Oh,
it does look like
Which one of the 4 wheels?
I need permission to screen shares on our recording device, which isn't totally a well-known meeting user.
Permission has been granted.
Thank you very much. Here we go. Right. Everything is here.
Oh, exciting. Look at that. That'll turn your eyes funny, won't it?
Yeah, exactly.
There's so much crammed on one wheel.
Cool. So what is it?
Oh, it's spinning, it's spinning, it's spinning, it's spinning, it's spinning. It's spinning.
Oh
shit.
Okay.
right? Because it's the same.
Oh,
Because it's the same series. I'm going to go for a respin.
No.
No. Because it's the same series, I'm going to go for a
come
respin.
on.
No, because we do these once a month. I want a different Doctor. I'm doing a respin.
Okay, but
What if it comes out the Fifth Doctor
we do
again?
it on the proviso that is the next one after this.
Sure, that's
Ladies
fine.
and gentlemen, well, he didn't even tell you what it
Oh,
was.
yes!
Yes!
I love Mind of Evil.
Yes!
Terrific story.
The Mind of Evil. Yes!
The Mind of Evil, and the other one was Time Flight, which we will do another day.
So what we're saying is, listeners, that your March Doctor Who review will be the John Pertwee classic, The Mind of Evil, and in April we will be doing Time Flight. It's been said on the podcast now, and we're holding you to it. You weren't going to get out of reviewing 2 shit season 19 stories in the space of a couple of months.
There we go. It's Time Flight. Well, ladies and gentlemen, thank you guys so much for.
And I tell you what, we might have to be a little bit careful in what we say about that one.
Oh, God, you're right as well, aren't you? Oh,
and
no.
We might have to be a little bit careful what we say about Mind of Evil.
Yeah.
Not only because of certain bits, but also because it's a Pertwee story and John will kill us.
Yeah, I will. And you know, there's something else that I'm going to say after we've stopped recording.
Yeah.
Okie dokie. But anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel and all the Spotify. I forget what they're called. I think it's following on Spotify and all this sort of stuff. I think Apple's the same. Just subscribe. Do the equivalent of subscribing. Remember to like and comment if you're on YouTube. If you want to. I always try and do reply to comments if I get them. About the whole.
If I get them.
If I get them. Sometimes I don't, and that's fine. It saves me a job, I suppose. Next week on the show,
please keep your comments civil and constructive. Don't just be a cunt.
Yeah, you got 3 this episode. Add it to the mega mix.
Well, I didn't say at all last week, did I? So you know.
Yeah, so you're making up for lost time. Next week on the show, Adam Amoon will be back with his review of Captain Marvel. Next week will be Captain Marvel. You can follow John on Twitter at JohnBoy_. Is it JohnBoy Cook or _? I keep forgetting. JohnBoy_Cook. Follow Owen at Dr. Disco 63. Buy from the Who shop if you want to. They have some amazing Doctor Who related products. Like what?
Like, I don't know.
I mean, do they
think of something? I'm sure there's something that we will have.
Do they have the Mara Tales on DVD?
Yes.
Or the season 19 collection box set.
Yes.
So if people would be interested in watching Kinder, or if you want to watch Mind of Evil in advance of the next Doctor Who podcast, you could buy season 8.
Yes. Until then, though, guys, you can follow me, Alex King_Dom. You can follow the Twitter at The Timers Pod on Twitter. And we'll see you guys all very soon. Take care. Look after yourselves.
Don't have nightmares. Do sleep well. You can't mend people.